Okay, so let's jump right into one of the biggest questions ever asked. If God is all-powerful and all good, why is there so much evil in the world? It's a tough one, for sure. But in this explainer, we're going to look at a pretty unique answer that reframes the whole problem. Forget a battle of pure power. Think of it more like a cosmic courtroom drama.
All right, this is the core of it. Why would an all-powerful being just let evil run rampant? But what if the answer has nothing to do with a lack of power? What if it's actually about a fundamental legal and moral principle, one that the entire universe kind of hangs on? So, Section 1, the accusation. To get this, we have to go back to the beginning. Our story doesn't start with some big cosmic explosion, but in a perfectly cared-for garden, or a vineyard, let's say. The world was given to a steward who had a really clear set of instructions from the owner.
And that first steward? That was Adam, representing all of us. He was given authority. But get this, it was delegated authority. He wasn't the owner, he was the manager. His one job was to run the world according to the owner's loving law. A position of incredible trust and, a ton of responsibility. But then, a challenger enters the vineyard. And here's the crucial part. Satan doesn't use force. He uses deception. He tricks Adam into breaking the owner's one rule. And in that single act of disobedience, Adam just gives up his legal authority. His stewardship is illegally snatched, and now he's legally tied to the will of the one who tricked him.
All right, Section 2, the divine dilemma. So this act of deception creates a massive, massive problem for the owner. It's a real conflict between raw power and perfect justice, and just stepping in with force would actually make everything way, way worse.
It's the obvious question, right? Why not just zap the bad guy and be done with it? I mean, if someone's squatting in your vineyard illegally, you just call the cops and throw them out. But in this cosmic legal case, the stakes are just infinitely higher. A forceful eviction would have absolutely disastrous consequences for everyone involved. This slide just lays it out perfectly. On one hand, you have immediate force. If God does that, it actually proves Satan's whole argument, that God is just a tyrant who rules by might. Plus, it would mean humanity, who is now legally bound to Satan, would also have to be condemned. The only other choice is this patient plan, a plan that could prove God's character and create a totally legal way to save humanity. So, and this is so important, brute force solves literally nothing. It would leave the real root of the problem completely unanswered, the whole question of whether God's way of doing things is actually good and just. All of creation would then be left to obey simply out of fear, not love. And the chance for another rebellion? It would always be there, just waiting to happen.
So now for Section 3, the plan's core. If force is off the table, what's the solution? Well, the owner decides to fight this thing in court, not in a brawl. And to win a case this big, a case for the soul of the universe, you need the ultimate witness.
The entire plan revolves around the owner's own son. The idea was for him to come as the last Adam, to legally succeed where the first one had failed. His mission was crystal clear: live a life of perfect obedience, go right into enemy territory to confront the usurper, and prove once and for all to the entire cosmic courtroom that the owner's law is all about love, not tyranny. And this quote from the parable, wow, it really gets to the heart of the whole plan. It's not a threat, it's an appeal. The owner sends the one person who should command the most respect, the heir himself. It's a move that's filled with so much hope, but also, a tremendous amount of risk. Which brings us to Section 4, Victory at the Cross. This is the absolute climax of the drama, because when the heir finally shows up, the usurper doesn't see a chance to surrender. No, he sees his final opportunity to grab the vineyard for himself, this time for good. So in this final act of defiance, the illegal tenants of the vineyard all conspire to kill the owner's son. Satan, working through them, thinks that if he can just get rid of the heir, he can eliminate any future claim to his stolen authority. This is his checkmate move, or so he thinks. And this is it, the great reversal. The very act Satan uses to try and lock down his throne is the one thing that completely destroys it. By murdering the innocent heir, he proves to the entire universe what he really is, a murderer. At the exact same time, the son's sacrifice proves the owner's incredible sacrificial love. It is a legal masterstroke. The bad guy's condemned, and the price is paid to legally set humanity free. So the legal battle is won, but the story's not over. Not even close. See, the goal was never just to get back to what was lost.
The goal was to bring creation to a state of completion, something way more secure and way more glorious than how it all started.
I mean, this comparison says it all. Adam's original authority, it was fragile, it was conditional, it could be lost. But the authority that humanity gets now through the Son is inherited. It's based on his perfect, unbreakable obedience, which makes it eternal and certain. This isn't just fixing what was broken, it's a massive upgrade. So by allowing this whole drama to play out, all of these grand purposes were achieved. Satan's case? Totally dismissed. God's character? Vindicated for all to see. Sin? Dealt with for good. And maybe most importantly, free will itself is perfected. Now creatures can choose good based on a full, demonstrated knowledge of both good and evil. So this brings us right to the final and honestly the most important question. What was all this for? It wasn't just about cleaning up a mess or winning a fight. According to our source, the ultimate goal was something way, way more profound. The true purpose was the completion of free will itself, to create beings who choose to love and obey, not because they're afraid of some powerful tyrant, but because they have seen the ultimate evidence of evil's destruction and of love's incredible sacrifice, and they freely choose love. A choice based on truth, not on terror. And that is a foundation for an eternal kingdom that can never, ever be shaken again.